My family and I have been partners with Ezekiel Ministry for as long as I can remember, several years, numerous years. Our connection is through Josh, the executive director. He and I have been friends for a really long time, and when God called him to this ministry, we just wanted to partner with him because we wanted to help it be successful. And so that was how it all got started. Currently, we're just financial partners through monthly giving. You know, we understand that as a family, we understand that God brings opportunities to our family to help further His cause, help further the cause of the gospel. And so when Josh and Brittany came and were looking for support, it was an obvious yes. The question we had to ask God was, you know, to what extent are we able to partner, and what extent are you calling us to partner? I keep up, you know, personally with my relationship with Josh. We probably eat or, you know, hang out once a month or something. So I'm always hearing testimony of all the good. I've been to Ezekiel Ministry or Ezekiel Farms and enjoyed getting to know Brett, and have been to the gala, and, you know, done lots of different things in regard to hearing all of the good, and gotten to meet some of the kids as well that have come through, and yearn for the opportunity to partner in a mentoring way. Because you see like all of the good and you hear all the testimonies, and certainly you see the passion of those that are in leadership, and so it makes you want to continue to partner more. You almost hope that the Lord would say, hey, you know, like it's time to partner, you know, even in greater scale here, but we wait to be obedient in that. You know, the last time that he and I hung out, he was talking about one of the young men that he mentored very early on, and is now in a position to seek the opportunity to invest right back into the ministry. And, you know, being someone that's been involved in a lot of different ministries personally and just in association ways, that's a really powerful moment when those that you've invested in see how full and how good those years were, and want to then replicate that, you know. And so that makes you really excited. That tells you how long I've been hanging around, so long enough to know those young men and to now see them want to give back as well. I think that, you know, my family, there's 5 of us, and one thing that we've always been very direct with our kids about, or diligent with our children about, is the fact that as God brings people in your life, that you have a greater view, or attempt to have a greater view of why God might bring them in your life. And so when partnerships like Ezekiel Ministry come into your life, when people like Josh and Brittany and other folks within the ministry come into your life, all of a sudden you begin to realize that this isn't coincidence. You know, life's not lived in coincidences. It's lived in the realization that you're purposed to be here, purposed to be in that moment, purposed to be in that relationship, and that even though your hands and feet might not do what a lot of hands and feet might do, your opportunity to partner financially is just as important to the workings of the ministry happening. And so when you're teaching your children that, and then you can walk them through the fact that these are the real people, and these are what God's called them to, and this is how we can partner. And not only that, but we can partner with that in our city, you know, because there are needs right here, and we don't have to go far away to watch God multiply our investment and our obedience. And that's the whole thing. You know, one of my life verses is 1 Samuel 15:22. To obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. And it's this essence of God wants me to pay attention to what He finds important for me, not what I lay importance to, you know, and what, you know, maybe flashy or whatever. But if God has established it, then let me be wise to jump on board and invest there. So if I can teach that to my kids and say, be wise to this, be humble to this, then maybe they can walk in the same just vision and understanding so that they can be hearers and seers of what God is doing around them to invest well. I think my encouragement to somebody who's on the fence to giving and thinking, what does this small donation do? Tell them to go buy a grape tomato plant and plant that. And they think that one seed or that one plant may not produce much, but when they're overrun with little tomatoes and they're falling off because they can't eat them fast enough, you begin to realize God's math. You take one thing that's put in the proper way and given the proper encouragement, and all of a sudden the yield is so many more times than the investment. We do math wrong when we try to do it in our heads, but when we allow God to do math, He does impossible things. And so when you're dealing with a God that does impossible things, small amounts turn into massive yields.